Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the AfterShock EpiCenter live stream. I'm your host and the communication specialist here at AfterShock Comics, RuthAnn Thompson. Happy Pride Month. We are about to start off this new month with a whole lot of titles coming your way, a whole lot of sci-fi, and wrapping up one of our favorite titles from Garth Ennis. So let's jump right into it. Hello, Chad Coper and Nathan Duncan. Fantastic. Okay, so Dogs of London #1 was a surprisingly cool read. Looking forward to see issue 2 this week. It's actually going to be wrapping up this week, Chad. So let's jump right into all of the incredible titles we have. So we have 2 new #1s this week, starting off with Astronaut Down #1. So this comes from writer James Patrick, who you might know from all of our incredible titles from him, including Campese the Dragon Incident and the movie, the book that's going to be turned into a movie, Kaiju Score and Kaiju Score Volume 2, with artist Rubine, who he worked with Searching for Who. So there's a brand new series focused on a young man named Douglas Spitzer, who wants to be one of the astronauts selected for the crucial mission Pulitzer. And just like astronauts like Buzz Aldrin and Sally Ride, Douglas is brave, adaptable, and self-sacrificing. He is one of the program's best candidates. But if he does qualify, Douglas won't be traveling through space as we know it. He'll be launched into an alternate realities on a desperate mission to save Earth from a horrific crisis that has our world on the brink of extinction. Dun, dun, dun. And unfortunately, it's a mission where everything will go wrong, where Douglas's training and very humanity will be put to the test, and where deep-seated secrets could sabotage everything. Oh, very exciting. And howdy, Adam Skidler, to you two, and Jonathan Hall. Welcome to the show. Next up for this coming Wednesday's new comic book day titles for Wednesday, June 8th, we have Where Starships Go to Die #1. So we've absolutely adored working with Mark Sable. We've worked with him on several titles now, including Miskatonic and God Killers. And we have artist Alberto Locati, which we've also worked with several times before. And this is all a very fun, very sci-fi horror based on Point Nemo, which is the farthest oceanic point on Earth from any landmass, a spacecraft graveyard where rockets and satellites can be safely ditched on the ocean floor. In a near future ravaged by climate change, shocker, an African astronaut teams with an Indian shipping magnate to mount a dangerous salvage mission to recover the wreck of humanity's first interstellar starship. But what they find is beyond their worst nightmare. So looking for a whole lot of, deep sea / space terror. This is going to be your title coming up this week. And now we have a #2 coming up from Peter Milligan, Dogs of London #2 with artist Artisita. And this is all the very fun, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly title where we're dealing with both the Dogs of London in the 60s when they were at the height of their most dangerous, and also in the now times where suddenly 3 of their compatriots who they thought they had buried years ago have come back to life because someone has crawled out of their 50-year-old grave, someone that threatens to tear down the carefully constructed lives of ex-gangster Sir Frank Babbs and Terry Larkin. As Frank and Terry set about killing what should already be dead, we travel back to the 1950s and the brutal Borstal, where the young dogs came to the notice of eugenics-obsessed Professor Hartman, because that can't ever go wrong, right? And then into the swinging 60s, where Frank's dangerous love affair with a beautiful Audrey Quinn reaches a shocking conclusion. Very Montague and Capulet type Romeo and Juliet situation there. And unquiet graves and very noisy neighbors ruin the peace in part 2 of The Dogs of London. Yes, Josh, you absolutely need this title. It's very good. And we're continuing the epic title of We Live, going into Age of the Palladians #3 from the writer and creator team Roy Miranda and Anaki Miranda with the artistry of Anaki Miranda. So a vision from the Oracle starts to show its cards. Up in the sky, storms does not appear to abate, falling upon everybody. Down below, the path of the hero begins to fade with every step. And this series is definitely based on, if you read the first series, that was very much all about like finding hope in the most darkest of places. And now in this series, it's all about finding the ability to be a hero in the most difficult of times. because Nesbo sees how the lives that he took under his wings irrevocably slip through his fingers. Hototo and the reconnection team arrive at their mysterious destination. From this point on, everything becomes uncertain territory that feels like moving sand. Meanwhile, Tala and Humbo's journey to Megalopolis 9 has changed directions and hands. So we have a lot of different moving parts here, and it's very beautifully illustrated by the incredible Inaki Miranda as well. Anything funny coming out, Adam Shitter? Nothing of the funny sort. We do have next week the full volume of Chicken Devil coming out on June 15th. So that is both hilarious and dark humor as well. But going right back into some darkness that we have coming out for this week, but incredible title, Lion and the Eagle #4. So this actually wraps up this title in another, because it's been a 4-issue, 48-page prestige format miniseries from the incredible Garth Ennis, who you may know, I don't know, from The Boys and several other wonderful titles. And we have artist PJ Holden. And in this very intense, real series about the war, at last the Chindits are on the move, although not at all in the direction they were hoping. As vengeful Japanese forces descend on the dwindling little band, British and Gurkha alike must fight like animals to survive. And to Alistar's horror, Keith must now make the most terrible decision of all. Dun dun dun. So thank you so much, JD Smith says that Lion the Eagle has a great cover. It certainly does. It's absolutely beautiful. The artwork from PJ Holden has made this intense title even more epic. Yes, and I agree with you, Josh Cortez on Facebook. PJ Holden is unstoppable. Next, and last but not least, for our new comic book day on Wednesday, June 8th, we have the Dark Ark Complete Series hardcover. So this is from our very terrifying horror writer Cullen Bunn, who we worked with several times before, and wonderful artist Juan Doe, who we just had recently a series come out from. And this is everything all together in one beautiful hardcover. So everybody knows the story of Noah's Ark, right? Because there's all the fluffy animals and the lions and the tigers and bears. Oh my! But what if there was a second ark, a Dark Ark, and that has all of the monsters and the manticores and the vampires? Oh my! And this focuses on the story of that ark, and that there are some humans on that ark, which are led by a warlock who actually made a deal with the devil. So he made the deal that if he can get Noah's Ark and the Dark Ark safely to land, that he'll be released from his contract and him and his family will be safe. So other than him and his family, there are some humans that he tricked to be on this boat to then basically be food for the monsters as they go along. But of course, they're never ever quite satisfied with just a few humans here and there. So so this continues that. This is the complete story of that, as well as includes the after the flood, once they actually do reach land, and it's his daughter that has to take over. So this is a sinister saga of biblical proportions, and this has so much in it. So let me see if I have the page count on here, because it is an intense amount of stuff. But we have a great quote from Chris from the Fandom Post. It says, Cullen Bunn delivers wonderfully here, and Juan Doe again puts the page of some of the most best looking comic art I've ever seen. So thank you, Chris, for that quote. And Bernie, welcome. He agrees with Nathan Powerhouse team. And thank you all. And yes, Nathan, absolutely, Bunn and Doe are gods, especially when they're put together. And we have another happy hour coming up next week. If you guys missed it, there was a really incredible announcement about a new title that's coming out next week called A Calculated Man. And that comes from writer Paul Tobin, who you might know from the very popular Bunny Mask, as well as My Date with Monsters. So I get a chance next week on Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, to sit down with not only Paul Tobin, the creator of these incredible titles, but also the person who's been named the showrunner of A Calculated Man Hulu series, Peter Calloway. And he also has incredible work with us, both Shadow Doctor and The Last Space Race. So next week is going to be an awesome, awesome show. So please put it in your calendars for Thursday, June 16th at 5 p.m. Eastern. Pour yourself a drink and join us for the interview. And then we'll have the world famous live sale afterwards, where we'll have an exclusive from Mike Ruth of A Calculated Man as well. So yes, Nathan, I'm so glad I'll see you there. And and Adam Skinner, how does someone get some Aftershock swag? Well, that is a great question, because we have not only our website, but also we are going to be at several conventions this year. So there's so many different ways to get it. Also at your local comic book shop, we do have our ambassador program, which I'll talk about a little bit later in this show, as well. But coming up for when you do go to your local comic book shop this week and you want to add some wonderful titles to your pull list, we have several on the way. So fast approaching, we do have oh, and I'm missing the title from this. There we go. There's Something Wrong with Patrick Todd. And this is going to be issue 1. That's going to be in shops on July 6th. And the cutoff is going to be June 13th, this Monday, to be able to order it. So make sure when you're in your local comic book shop this Wednesday, you add There's Something Wrong with Patrick Todd to your title list. This comes from writer Ed Brisson, who we've worked with several times before, and artist Gavin Gowdry. And you're going to have to get a hold of yourself before he does. It's another dark, fun, twisty title, as well as The Brother of All Men #1. And that is also going to be in shops on July 13th. And this comes from writer Zach Thompson and artist Owen Marin. And Zach Thompson, as you know, he does some really wonderful titles with us, including Undone by Blood, so many more I could name that I've been obsessed with over the years. And this has a very dark, twisty tale of this is his first foray into period piece horror, and we all have our demons. Dun, dun, dun. Very exciting stuff. So also, we have a brand new announcement. Nathan Duncan, those are not one-shots. Those are actually going to be continuing titles for 4 issues. So great question. And Adam, yes, it is an awesome cover. I agree. And we just announced this morning another new title from British comic scribe Richard Dunnick, writer of such iconic series as Doctor Who, The 12th Doctor, Thunderbirds Are a Go, and Lost in Space, Countdown to Danger. He deep dives under the city of London for a wild, out-of-this-world series you can imagine with Last Line, a new series from AfterShock. And this is all focused on Sally Hazard, who has just had the worst day of her life. While on the usual shift as the driver for the tube, the unthinkable happens when a man is pushed in front of her train and killed. But there's something a little off here. Sally swears the man was pushed, but her supervisors witnessed, and the CCTV footage all show the man falling on his own. Sally cannot let this go, and her investigation into the murder introduces her to MI6 agent named Edward Tarn, also curious about the so-called accident. Together, Sally and Ed discover an off-world explanation for the assassination, plus an alien invasion, and the craziest plot twist of all, an interplanetary travel system buried deep beneath London's underground. So this does feel very Doctor Who-ish, which I'm very excited about. And this is teamed with illustrator Jose Holder, who you might know from X-Men Apocalypse, Assassin's Creed, Origins, and Rainbow Six Siege. And joined by colorist Kelly Fitzpatrick, letterer Dave Sharp, and Andy Clark, with Jose Verabrea on covers, and first issue incentive cover from Das Potras. Dunnick and company will pull into comic shops everywhere in September. Very exciting. Oh, I missed the beginning. Who's coming out this week so much, Matthew. I'm sorry. You're going to have to go back and see for yourself what's coming out, because we have about 6 titles coming out this week. A whole lot of #1s. We're wrapping up one title and a hardcover as well. But for all of you Aftershock fans out there, we are still looking for a couple Aftershock ambassadors. So we have 2 areas that we're looking for. We're looking for Indianapolis as well as Long Island, New York. So if you or someone you know who is an Aftershock fan wants to join and also get some of that swag I was talking about while handing out that swag to your local comic book shops every month when you visit, please use the link below to apply today. And me and the Aftershock Ambassador Management team will interview you, bring you on, train you up, and get you out there as soon as possible. Thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of the Aftershock family. Make sure to stay safe out there. Wash your hands, wear your masks, keep your distance, and only read dangerously. We'll see you all next week.